Classes in session.
Hey, you doing? Welcome to Unlearn 16 Classes in Session. Today I have Tori back with me, and guys, we're gonna have some fun today. So get some popcorn, get a coffee, get something, because we're gonna have a good time. Tori and I were talking about Tori. How are you doing? I'm sorry, I didn't even
I'm
acknowledge you.
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We were talking about that beginning stage of a relationship where you text incessantly, back and forth, and you ask all of those sort of deep, introspective questions. And for me, I judge, but I think those you judge. But if let's be honest, if the person's hot enough, you're like, oh, your favorite movie is what? I'm trying to think of a crappy movie. Like your favorite movie is Dumb and Dumber. Oh, okay. I still like it. Of course, I like it because you're wicked hot. But we tend to judge on these questions. So Tori and I are going to go back and forth.
Mm.
We're gonna get into some of those typical sort of pre-date or as you're starting to date questions. Tori can say how'd she judge. I feel like Tori, you're probably a lot less judgmental than I. I feel like you're more like to each their own, where I'm like, your
I
movie choice says a lot about your soul.
you know what? I'll only judge if they don't like Harry Potter.
Oh, awesome. We can fight about Harry Potter in a second. Because we're going to come to Harry Potter because I saw, did you ever see that TikTok where the guy did the perfect thing about Harry Potter and he goes, it's just Star Wars with moms. Did you see that TikTok? I'm going to try to find it.
No,
It's so
and
funny.
I'm offended. Look at my water bottle.
Of
It's a
course you'd be offended.
Harry Potter. I'm
Ha-
obsessed.
have you been to Florida? Have you been to Universal and gone and seen
Mm.
it? Like that whole
No, and
Oh, look, I'm
I
not even a big because I'm older than you, right? I'm about that amount older than you, where Harry Potter would be cool for you and
I
Star
grew up
Wars.
with it.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. What informs our childhood? I think just I mean, I'm surrounded by crap I've rebought because our childhood holds such awesome innocence to it that we
Yes.
think everything we experienced in that time is the best, right?
Right. Just cuz
Having
we
said
had the innocence.
yes, it's the
Yeah.
perspective, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. So you start dating somebody. You're in your
Yep.
text. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? You
It
go
doesn't
first.
me? It does
You go
okay.
first. What's the first? Tori, you start dating. Whoever, whatever lucky lady. You're texting back and forth. What is the first question? The very first question you will ask. I'm going to answer it, and then
Uh
we can talk about why you asked that question.
The first question. All right. Well,
The
I tend
first,
to like I
outside of
get
your
deep.
name, but you get deep right away.
I come out the gate like I come in like a wrecking ball, but I'm not today. It's the Cancerian in me, but
We're both
um
cancers. That's funny.
you're a Cancer?
Can you say Cancerian? Is that a
Yeah.
word?
Yeah,
Cancerian.
Cancerian. I say Cancerian anytime I say Cancerian in me because I don't want to say there's cancer in me, you know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't like the way it sounds.
It's true.
When's your birthday?
July 16th.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, that's a
Guys,
Cancer.
after you listen to this podcast, you're going to go over to Tori's podcast and we're going to do a whole astrology, tarot card, Cancerian thing.
Oh god.
I don't even know
Um,
what that looks like because that's not my thing, but Tori's got it all unlocked. Okay, first question, Tori. Come,
my
be
first
honest. Ask the deep question. What's the deep question you would ask?
um oh man. How do I ask a question? I, I would
You're getting
ask
to know somebody.
I would probably ask like about their beliefs, like what they believe in. Like I would try to like fish to see if they were spiritual or something like that.
Interesting. Okay, so right off the hop, with that, see, that makes sense because it is important to you. Now, what if it
Mhm.
was, obviously I'm not.
Mm,
People ask me all the time, are you spiritual? And I say no. And they say, whether it's religious or whether it's like Anna loves the crystals and all of the vibration levels and stuff like that, the secret. And like, I have friends that are like into astrology and that kind of thing. And all people
mm.
are like, okay, so you're not spiritual at all? And I'm like, I don't think about it.
I don't know.
It doesn't even enter, and I don't know what that says about me. It doesn't enter into my consciousness. Like people are like, "Well, don't you care what happens when we die?" I said, "No, it does. Why would I care about something I can't possibly come to terms with?
You you know what you would probably like, and you probably already know about it since, you're a very educated human. You'd probably like Stoic philosophy.
Sure, philosophy, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But philosophy is about now and here, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know why I said those words backwards. That sounds really weird when you don't like use them in the proper, it's here and now.
Yeah, but we love
You
to
never say
rebel.
now and here.
I like now and here though.
All right. I'm going to start using that. Now it's
You're
going to be a hard shift. Okay, so you right away asked, that is deep. I asked nothing deep.
I would ask if they're into crystals. That's how I would fish. So it's
Into
not
crystals.
like, yeah, I'm not out here like, so where do you think we go when we die? But I'm just like, so are you into crystals? Like, are you into all of that stuff? And then
Listen,
like, you know,
they're hid all over my house. Anna moved in, and
yeah,
there's
I'm everywhere.
crystals everywhere. So like, and I'll just find them randomly. I'm like, oh, there's some in that windowsill. Okay. Oh, there's some under my bed. What's this beside my bed? Why is this Why is this in my pillowcase? They're all over the place now. I'm not against it. So if somebody says to you, "I'm not really into it," is that like you're okay? Well, then we're not gonna be on the same wavelength there. You're like,
Nah. I would just ask out of curiosity. It's not like a deal breaker for me. You know what's a deal breaker for me?
hit me.
If English is your first language and you don't know the right your and your there,
That's
that
it.
that's a deal breaker. Like
You just
literally,
lost half your TikTok following by saying that. By the way, it's so pervasive.
I've made videos about it too, but I'm not trying to offend anybody, but like cheat on me, beat me up, but I draw the line at your
Cheating.
grammar.
But say, well, when they're speaking, you have no idea, right? So
Mhm.
it's only when
Mhm.
they're going to type that stuff out.
Yeah,
You know what
such
the
a
one
pet
that
peeve.
sits bad on me is when they say, what's that word doesn't even exist. Irregardless.
Supposedly. Oh,
Yes,
irregardless.
Joey. Yeah. Irregardless. I'm like,
Irregardless, supposedly.
I'm gonna have to walk away. I feel like supposedly though was put in our head by Joey. I don't know if I'm gonna hate all that as much because I feel pop culture now it's even funny when I say it. It makes me laugh when I say supposedly because I remember that episode. All right, here's my first question, hands
Okay.
down. Getting to
Okay.
know somebody, but again, they could have could have horrible movie taste, but their level of hotness really carries them through a whole round of questions.
Mm.
Favorite movie.
Am
Favorite
I
movie of all time. And that doesn't mean because I'm so tired of hearing people say like Shawshank Redemption. Like, okay, listen, yeah, we all
it's a
love
good
those
movie.
movies.
Right.
Your favorite. You're sitting on a Sunday afternoon and you're gonna pop in a movie you've seen 8,000 times. You're gonna do 8,001. What movie is it?
Me?
Yep.
Harry Potter.
You? No, my cat sitting on. What do you mean you? Me?
Thought it was the spirit my spirit guides you were asking. Um no, yeah, it's Harry Potter. I have 3
Which
favorite.
one? There's 8 of them, isn't there? 9? How
Oh,
many is there?
I'm sitting down for like 12 hours and watching them all.
Okay, but
But
do you have a favorite
I do.
one? Which one?
It is the Half-Blood Prince.
That's it. Is that 3?
No, that one is Prisoner of Azkaban.
What
3.
what number is yours?
Mine is I think it's 6.
Okay. So, question. This would be my
Mm.
follow-up question because I can't distinguish between Harry Potter movies.
Oh.
And see, I'm not immediately against Harry Potter because I like the mythology, I like the vibe of the movies. I don't love them the way people grew up on them love them.
Mm.
But like I don't dislike them. I don't think they're bad movies, but what about that particular episode?
It's
That's a deep sigh.
climactic. It is like, you know what it is? The movies go from so lighthearted and like uppity, and then literally they get darker and darker. And the sixth one is just when like the shit fucking hits the fan. I can curse,
All right.
right?
That's right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
sorry.
It's not
The-
TikTok.
right, right. I made a video about misogyny. Have you been seeing the lock and key argument that the men are making about women?
No, go ahead.
I'm on misogynist talk. We just
How
have to
did
do.
that happen? See, you can't get too angry at. Here's also the interesting thing about TikTok. If you get, it's just kind of like maybe a metaphor of life, actually. You'll
Mm.
appreciate this because it must be all about vibration and all of that kind of stuff. What you think about draws it in because the minute you get too worked up, even in anger, like about something, it just is everywhere. Like you're in it. Like I personally, in my soul, really dislike. I don't like using hate. Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you've heard of this man. He's a Canadian, but he's just
I agree.
everything about it, right? And if I don't see him every place I go now.
I
Anyway,
try
so
to
what's the
avoid.
lock and key?
I avoid him like COVID. Anyway, lock and key. Well, I'm not on misogyny talk. I'm on combating misogyny talk.
No, fair, but that means you meet a lot of misogyny. Yes.
Right. I see it and then I see the people combating it. But either way, um there are men who are equating they're saying men are like locks. I mean, men are like keys and women are like locks. And
Okay.
so they kind of use that analogy to basically say how women shouldn't sleep around, but men are allowed to because they say if you have a master key and it opens up every lock, it's a good key. But if you have a lock that is opened by any key, it's a bad lock, and they equate that to sexuality between men and women.
Wow. They've
Right.
taken a deep. What if that key might open the lock, but slowly starts to disintegrate the lock because it's a bad key?
My argument, and TikTok kept fucking oh, excuse me again.
Shadow
TikTok,
banning? I love
yeah,
it.
they were shadow banning me. Um my argument was just because the key goes in and fits doesn't mean it unlocks anything.
It's
Like
true. Yeah.
slow your roll, you know
There's
what
a
I
lot of
mean?
every key goes in, but to actually turn and open the door, you're right. That
Right.
takes that's only one key. This idea of a master key. It's
Right.
ridiculous. Who has
Yeah.
that power?
Right. So,
That's
anyway,
horrible.
that was
So Harry Potter's your jam.
mhm.
You like that it gets dark? Is it because it's spiritual in a way?
Um, it's spiritual, it's emotional. It brings out like emotions for me. Um, y- it's just I don't know, it's just climactic and I love it.
There it is.
It's
All right.
intense. Yeah.
All right, your question. Hit me.
Trying to think. Let's see. Well wait, I want to know your favorite movie. What the hell?
Jaws. Everybody knows my favorite movie. I talk about it incessantly. I
Jaws?
Jaws, hands down.
Okay.
It's been my favorite forever. It initially made me terrified of the ocean. The reason why I would say it's my favorite is because it initially made me terrified of the ocean and pools. And eventually it made me like,
Pools.
well, you just never friggin' know. And eventually it made me fascinated with the ocean. And I got my scuba diving license and I want to dive with sharks and I've dove with sharks. Anyways, so I it's an interesting combination or transition from fear to fascination. I also think it's the perfect movie. I think when I really, because I've watched it a lot, it is the perfect sort of obviously man against nature, but even the music. Like, I can't, when they're rolling that boat out to find the shark and they're playing that nice little light, like ding, 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 out to, you're like, where's this music coming from? You're like, they're going to go try to kill a shark, but there's this happy kind of vibe in the air, and I like the 70s vibe. I like all of it. The whole thing is just enjoyable. Um,
I haven't seen it.
okay, so we're gonna pause the podcast, and Corey's gonna go watch one of the most important movies of all time. The reason why I asked the question, though, it's so funny because a lot of people do I judge sometimes. If somebody says something really deep and moving and meaningful, I'm like, like I don't know if I'm buying it. I don't know. I'm not saying that somebody's favorite movie isn't like Casablanca
Shawshank?
or Shawshank or like just typical.
American History X?
Well, I'm running from that one. If that's your favorite, if that's your go, it's a good movie. But if that's your go-to
Yeah.
to throw it on a Sunday afternoon, we gotta talk about that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's yeah.
I like an answer. That's what I like. You know what I mean? I don't even. You come back and you say the rookie. At least you got something in. You have a sense of self, and I think with that question, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking for a movie, even though I might make fun of your choice, but I'm really looking for a strong sense of self. Like Anna's favorite movie, and we're engaged, is Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, she's spicy. Okay.
that ain't spicy. I don't know. I couldn't believe it. But man, will this girl stand behind that movie and that's what I respect, right? That's the part. I don't care about somebody being different than I am. I care about their authenticity and their self-awareness. You know what I mean? To stand
Yeah.
If you can stand next to Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, you got something about yourself that nobody else, you know what I mean? You're standing in all of that wrong powerfully. I'm blown away by it. So I like
I'm
it.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like horror movies for me.
I love
Like, I c- I can't. I particularly, not that I can't date a girl that likes horror movies. I can't date a girl that's obsessed with horror movies. I will judge if your obsession,
Interesting. You mean like obsessed, like all they want to watch are horror movies, or obsessed like they've seen a lot?
all they want to watch is horror movies. Like,
Yeah, I get nervous about anybody who can't diversify from. I don't like one track people
mm,
in general. And I know some people might think I'm one track considering how much I talk about politics, but I really don't. I don't like just one road makes me uncomfortable. It's that kind of obsession that it makes me. But I do. I love all horror movies, though, right? But I grew up again. I'm a bit older than you. I grew up in the golden age of horror movies, right? 80s slasher films. There ain't nothing like it. They didn't
those
do it
are
before. Yeah,
right, right,
there's something, Freddy and Jason, you can't, and Michael, you can't step up to that anymore. And they just keep trying to remake it badly. But there's something about that era and I can watch a cheesy horror movie, but like A Hills
right.
Have Eyes, whew, I
I
can't.
mean, I've watched horror movies. I've dated women who love horror movies. It's just not my cup of, like, horror is just not my cup of tea.
But yeah, that's true. Anna won't watch a horror movie. I'm all excited to see Scream 5. What is it? 37? I'll be sitting there by myself is what's going to happen.
I'm going to see Scream 168.
I love it. I
I've
absolutely love it.
never seen the Scream movies. I've seen all the Saw movies.
What a weird. Why would you do that? Why would you go from I don't like horror to let's watch some of the
Saw.
most gruesome and grotesque mind mess of a movie?
Right.
That's
No,
some.
it was at the expense of my mental health. I'm not gonna
How hot was
lie.
she, Corey? On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot was she? We're talking a solid 11.
She was my first girlfriend,
Well, there
so
we go. That's the
that's that.
answer.
Mhm.
Exactly. I watched Dirty
Mhm.
Dancing Havana Nights. That's the power of
Right.
that's the power of hotness. You watched
Yes.
all Saw, and I watched Dirty
Yep.
Dancing Havana Nights.
We'll do
True. I also
anything.
watched Roswell, but we don't need to talk about that. Okay.
Oh god.
Um, Next question. What do you got? So
My next question would probably be, and it's so funny that, I mean, I do ask these questions though. What your favorite, like, type of, like, genre of music?
that's a solid question. Somebody asked me
Thank
that.
you.
They ask me a lot. Like what? Like you'd say genre, so you'd be like, "Are you pop? Are you alternative? Are you country?" Is that what you're looking for there?
Yeah, like, what do you listen to normally? Yeah, yeah. Because I'll judge a I won't judge a woman, but I wanna know that we're on the same wavelength, like,
100%. This is
you
where I
know?
lose a lot of friendships. I'm not going to lie. You ready? Um, my musical taste tends to like. Well, okay. If I was going to pop something in to make me feel good or to sing a bunch of stuff to, it'd
Mm,
probably be like an Amanda Marshall or a Melissa Etheridge or a Pink or an Ani DeFranco, even though she's very angry all the time. I still enjoy it. Those are my kind of go tos, but I pretty much only like music that's going to make me feel good.
mhm.
So, like anything that has a good energy to, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
like to badly sing,
What
badly, and I'm a lyrics driven person. So if I
I am
like
too.
the lyrics, if I can associate with the, even it's not that I never listen to a sad song,
Mm.
but I recognize about myself, I'm very, top 40. I don't diverge and go try to find new kinds of, I'm not, that's not me. I also don't really care about the music per se, because again, I can't hear it. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't care. Are you
Yeah.
using a bass guitar to let, who care? I don't know. Is this in three-fourths time? I don't
We
even
don't give a
understand
shit
that
about the
language.
who cares about the
Some people
instrument.
listen to the music. I listen for the lyrics. Do I like the words? Do they mean something to me? Can I sing about them? But I mean, that doesn't mean that they all have to be deep. Like
Right.
Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine. Put that song on. Try not to have a
I'm
smile on your
walking
face.
on that's a good right. Right.
Right?
There's a song by like Will I Am. It's called Be Nice. It's literally
I like
just
Will
be
I Am.
nice. It's a good song, you know?
I like that kind of vibe. Somebody gets in my car and puts on like anything I feel like I'm being yelled at. I'm I'm just not I'm just not into.
I'm not into sad like I love Adele.
Yeah, exactly. But she makes me flat out cry. I can't be having that
I'm
all
not
the time.
I skip her. I love Adele as a human and I love her music
It's
as
amazing.
an right. Her artistry, I respect it and she's amazing and talented and I see that, but I will not put on her album and listen to it because I will get depressed.
Yeah. Or
And I
what's
want
her last song where he's like, "I was too young, didn't
be is
didn't
it be
go easy on me."
is it Go Easy on Me?
I don't know if that's the name. Yeah, I was still a child,
Mhm.
didn't get the chance. Right now, I feel a little nauseous. I can't. It's too much, Adele.
It's
You're out
giving
here.
me a
I need to
pit.
see. Yeah. My
Her
problem though is if somebody's really into music,
yeah,
obviously my future wife here is it's constant, right? But what I
yeah.
real like it's constant. And right now, stand by, we're in lockdown, so
Oh,
she's
y'all
tapping and
are?
teaching in the house, Tori.
Go
I'm gonna play a
easy.
podcast from the tap room. But you know what's funny is like because I watch her passion in it, like I love
Mm,
watching her teach. Like because I watch her passion in it, I'm in. Like
yeah.
I'm like, and she has such an authenticity about her that I'll have music. She'll be like, "Let's put music on," and she likes music I hate. She'll be like, "I know what I'm gonna put on. Barry Manilow, play," and I'm
Oh, I
like,
love Barry Manilow. You don't like Barry
I
Manilow?
mean, am I gonna put Barry? Sorry, if he's listening, listen.
Mm.
Am I gonna throw him on? Maybe Copacabana once in a while, but it is
Hey.
not. It is not my go-to. You know what I mean? And I'm
Do you
not
like
necessarily a huge current pop person because I'm old. I'm an '80s pop
honestly, I only know songs from TikTok, and, like, nowadays, that's
nowadays.
that in today's world, back in my day, but, like, now all the popular songs are the TikTok songs. So if you
Yep,
go on
yeah,
your phone and you're like, "Hey, Siri, play today's hits,"
yep,
she'll play every TikTok song.
yep. Well, it's
So,
brilliant because that's how the studios know they're going to make money.
hell
They just
yeah.
throw it out on TikTok. Does it become famous? Great, we'll throw some money in it. It really is this lovely little testing ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be your genre of music?
I love anything that I could dance to.
So, like,
Um,
what about like that techno? You got to wear something fluorescent around your neck.
it's not my go-to, but I dig it.
Yeah, you're
Um,
into it. Anything you can like. Yeah.
I love honestly, I love Latin music. Like I love salsa, I love merengue, I love bachata. Like I love doing those dances. It's
And you
just
can
fun.
do that. See, maybe that's my
Yeah,
problem, dude. I
I can.
cannot. I will get you a water,
I
but I don't think I don't have that. I don't have those hips.
it's all in the hips and
I
the
don't have
feet.
that soul, I don't think. We all get things in our lives. I just don't think that's it for me. I remember going into downtown. way back
Mm.
when, into a club, and it was a Bollywood club,
Mm.
which I am very much drawn. I love listening to it, right? And a friend of
And
mine
watching.
who happens to be very much into it took me, and the beat of this music is so different. And I walked into this place and I watched people dance, and I'm like, uh-oh. I can't
What
even fake. There's no faking. I don't know. I'm just gonna be. I'll be over here.
do you have rhythm?
I mean, I maybe I think I can hear the beat, but
Okay.
there's something about Bollywood music. I feel like it's different when I watch people either who are just into it, or that is their culture. That is their They hear it differently. It's like almost
Mm.
like a secondary beat they're dancing to, and I'm watching them. I'm like, that's not where I think the beat is.
I
But the
here's
room seems to agree with you, so I'll just be sitting.
I love, I love doing all the Latin dances and stuff, and I was at a party for, like, my friend is dating a Colombian girl, and her family was throwing a party, and, like, the big fish in a little pond or whatever, like, when I'm
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
my normal, like, crew, most of them are not Hispanic. I have a couple of Hispanic friends, but most of them are not, and even some of the Hispanic friends, like, I can outdance them. I walk into this house and I'm dancing with them, and, like, I could keep up, but watching them, I'm like, "Oh my god,
I
bro,"
got some
like,
work. Yeah.
re I got some practicing to do, you know? Like,
You know the thing about dancing, this is interesting, and a lot of people ask, some people say to me, how are you so confident with your opinion? I'm like, well, because I give it all the time. It's constant, right? Since I was 5. And so I've
right.
had lots of practice with that, and I feel very comfortable with that. But what I find very true of people who can dance, there's a freedom of their soul that I admire, right?
Yup.
That I would love to have. I am super self-conscious. Well, kind of enough self-conscious where I can't let go in that space. And I think it's something that I have to work on, obviously, because there's something about it that even if you're bad, but if you feel it, you're good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, and you just have to let that go. And I think that's a cool question to ask a partner if that's what you're into. You know what I mean? Is like, will you go dancing?
Yes. That is exactly it, because another deal breaker for me is I cannot be with and this is so stupid, but I cannot be with a woman who can't dance and doesn't like dancing,
There we
because
go.
when I picture my life, like, living in my house, I picture myself blasting music throughout the house and dancing throughout the house with my wife, and, like, if we have kids, like, that's how I picture my life,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and, like, going out and having fun, there's something sensual and, like, passionate about it
Mhm.
that I enjoy. If a woman tells me she does not dance or doesn't like to dance, I'm questioning the I'm questioning the connection.
At the end of the day, well, first of all, okay, I still say at the end of the day, it's a confidence thing, and and and
Yeah,
it's an interesting thing to notice because again, you don't need to be good to like it,
right.
but you need to be free. You need to not care, and everybody, I dress the way I dress, or I look whatever it is I do in my life. There's still places that I care or that I'm very self aware, and it's very hard, which is why I think, by the way, so many people drink heavily and then go dance because they just
Yeah.
need to remove those inhibitions, right?
Yep.
I don't drink, so I'm flying like, you know pretty straight and narrow through that, which can
Right.
be uncomfortable. But I do think it says a lot about a person. Absolutely,
Yes.
it does. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't. Yeah, I think I've had more music, and Anne is dying. Like we haven't been allowed. We haven't bars and like that hasn't really been open yet. And she's
Yeah.
like, when it's open, we're gonna go. And I'm like, oh my god, hun, you're like
Oh,
a dancer. I'm like, not like we couldn't be more, but I'll go. I'll go. I'll do the typical guy
I was
standing
just about to say it.
more still.
All you gotta do is just stand there and let her do her
And
thing
just
anyway.
like
So
exactly.
we
All right,
love
next
that.
question. You ready?
I'm ready.
Favorite word. I asked, I'm going to tell a story so you can think about it because you're like, just so everybody knows at home, like,
I already know it.
obviously, Tori and I haven't prepped any of this. I'm just throwing it out. She's throwing it out.
Uh huh.
But I'll tell you a story before you give me yours. Uh,
Okay.
I saw a girl for about 10 minutes who said her favorite word, and I'm not lying, was OMG. I got that. I got that text message and I looked at it
Wait, this is
and
a
I
true
went,
story?
this is a flat out true story. I looked at it and I went, well, then that's it. That's it.
We're done here. You're done.
That's all.
Wrap it up. We're
And I
done.
and I took a screenshot. I sent it to my friends. I go, guys, and my friends, because they know me, and my friends wouldn't, but like they're like, oh, that's so bad. She was cute. I'm like, yeah, but cute's not over playing that. Does she know that's not a
Yo.
word? Not only is it, if she said, oh my god,
No, I'm honestly, I'm on the same page. That's not
I'm
a
done.
fucking word.
It's
It's
not a
not a
word.
word. It's
Just
three.
take a minute. Take a minute. Pretend you didn't see the text message. Take a minute. Go find a word.
Pretend you didn't see the text
Like,
message.
you don't need to respond right away.
Just pretend like you lost your phone for a second.
Just
Like
for a second.
think
Sorry, my house is on fire. I don't know. Something.
think about your answers before you're answering. Like, you know what I mean? Be mindful.
But I guess, look, if that was her genuine,
Mm.
and this goes to show you, authenticity isn't maybe my first sell because if your authentically favorite word is OMG,
No, she's just
then
can I
authenticity doesn't do it for me.
I don't, I'm trying not to put negativity out there, but
I can't. I
that's
can't.
authentically stupid.
No, I
It's-
can't. I can't stand behind it.
no, I can't.
I can't. We've never spoke again. I don't even know.
Did you just leave it there?
Well, she lived far. Like she lived up north somewhere, like
Uh,
in Ontario North. So God knows I don't want to drive. I wasn't going to drive far anyways. But and so I didn't know. But like at that point, it was just kind of like we're just going to roll this out. Like I haven't ever really. I don't think I've ever ghosted any. Like just stop talking because I think that's brutal. But like I just would answer a little later and a little later, and
Gr-
it was
gradually dipped
you
out.
know I don't look. I gave her my word. She probably didn't understand it. She didn't like me any more than I liked her. I think it
What's
was
your
her.
word?
Well, tell me yours first, and then I'll tell you mine.
Ah,
I feel like we should write it down. We should have played like, we can try that in another podcast. That'd be funny, where we hold
I'm
up
so down.
signs.
I'm
All
so
right,
down for that.
favorite word.
I feel the judgment, but my favorite word is fuck.
All the words.
It's my favorite word. It's my favorite thing to do. Like it's got, it's close to my heart.
What about all that? It does have power. I don't think
Right.
that's very Cancerian of you. I think that's more. I think that's more Scorpio than anything
Yeah, it is
or
Scorpio. Yeah, you're
something.
right. Yeah, you're right,
You
actually.
know what? But it kind of goes with you because it is a very blunt but very passionately driven. You're going to use that word one of two ways, and both ways are going to have all passion built up in it. So
It's
I
packing a
can
punch.
respect it. I mean, on a deep and meaningful. I don't know where I'm putting that, Tori,
No, yeah, no, right.
but it's fair. I think
It's
that's a
my
fair word.
it's my favorite word to use
All right,
in
I'm into
on
it.
a daily basis. There are better words, and I recognize that. That there are so many more meaningful, deeper, like words that empower. But like my word is fuck.
All right then. All right. I think you should really rope that into some sort of merch.
I did actually.
My
I have
favorite word is yeah.
I have a shirt. I have a line of sweatshirts, and I play off of my initials, Tori Franco, like with a couple of my designs. And I have a shirt that says "the fuck," like, like the
Duh.
fuck is good.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So,
Like it.
yeah.
My favorite word is serendipity. And it's kind of funny because it sounds so fruity. Like, I mean, nothing could be more gay than my love of the word serendipity.
Tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay.
You love the word serendip. And it's funny also because we were just talking, like, I'm not spiritual. I don't necessarily, it's not
Mm,
like I think about any of that. But I find a beauty in the way the word sounds
mm.
and in the meaning. Whether or not I believe in it, I don't know. I still find a beauty in that word. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I like it so much.
You know what that word reminds me of? That I like and I use a lot? Synchronicity.
Very similar, right? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's meaning you're in the sort of same headspace, same vibration level, right?
Yeah.
And I think I liked that word when I saw the movie Serendipity. Do you remember the movie Serendipity with John Cusack?
Yeah.
Okay, and he
I
wrote his number, or the girl wrote a number in the book. I don't remember how it worked. And then
yeah.
she sold the book or something, and it was all about the book finding its way back to the person.
Yeah.
I kind of, bought into that. There's a lot of hopeless romantic in my
I
heart.
am you're a Cancerian or
It's a lot.
Cancer.
It's a lot to
Me
carry.
too though. Like I love that word and I love that the meaning of it and I love that movie.
Yeah, I do. And it wasn't like it was a particularly amazing movie, but thematically,
Mm.
I do like it. Like I
Yeah.
love movies that show you different characters and then eventually show how they all interconnect and they all impact each other and make each other move in better ways. That's kind of
Yeah.
my wheelhouse. That's why. Oh, and I have another question. So I was just going to say my other question, but I'm waiting.
You're
Your
waiting? Are you
go.
sure? Are you sure?
Your go. I just went.
My my go. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna find one from here because I can't even think off the top of my head.
I think that while you're looking, I think that uh, it's also the idea. Like some people are like, "I've never thought about that," and that's okay. So then you think about it. I don't think everybody needs to be sitting at home with this list. Um, but I like it when people. It's just what comes to their heart, right? Like what comes to your mind. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it's not forever. Guess what? Just because you tell me your favorite movie today doesn't mean you're tied to it to the day you die. You can
Right.
change your mind.
My favorite movie used to be A Bronx Tale when I was little.
Interesting.
You would think it would flip because
Yeah.
Harry Potter's more of like childlike in A Bronx Tale, but
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
I
true. I
don't
have a lot.
fucking
I
know.
mean, I have a lot of movies that I love, but all
Right.
right. You got a question?
Dogs or cats?
I get in so much trouble with I'm gonna go cat because
You're going cats. All right.
here's why. Because walking a dog in Ontario
Mhm.
is an exercise in insanity.
In the middle of the winter.
Like I just, and you need a certain lifestyle for a dog. You need a
Yeah.
certain You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah.
I always have had cats, always, always, always. But I'll tell you a story about a dog in a second. I've always had cats, but my mom has a British bulldog whom I'm helped take care of, and he got really sick, and I literally tore out the living room so there was no furniture in it, and we like lived on the floor together for 2 full weeks while he healed. And so in that, I mean, there's a bond with the dog, but here's my problem: if anything happens to this dog, Tor, I'll
Mm.
die. Like, I didn't want that. No, I don't want that kind of that is too much. And
It
I've
is.
avoided it my whole life, obviously, because I've had cats. And don't get me wrong, I've had cats that are very much like dogs that have almost killed me. But there is something about a dog and that connection that I
Yeah.
never knew until I took care of him for those 2 weeks. And I swear to God,
Yeah.
if anything happens to this dog, all that'll be that. And so I'm not into it. I'd like to protect my heart a little bit, and I'm going to land with cats.
All
But
right.
again, if somebody said I really want to have a dog, it's not like I'd say no. Having also, I do have dog limitations.
What, like how big they should be or
Yeah, see, I'm going to offend so many people, but I feel like I should be honest.
mm,
I'm not a huge fan
of the
of little
yappies?
dogs. I think if you're going to have a little dog, you should just have a cat. If I was going to choose a dog, now Presley's short, but he's a bulldog, right? The thing is like a 50-pound bowling ball, and he
Right.
doesn't have little dog personality. You know what I mean? Like he thinks he's, ginormous, but like I like Great Danes or Weimaraners or
Ooh.
Huskies or like dogs. Those
But
are
the bigger the dog,
the
the
shorter their
bigger
lifespan.
the no, the bigger the shit.
Listen, the fact that I've picked up so much poop in the last 2 years.
All right.
It doesn't phase me anymore. I don't mind the picking up. I mind the 7 hours looking for a spot.
Looking for a what?
A spot. Like Presley can
Oh,
find his spot. I don't understand what's going on there.
that's a pain.
That's
It
a lot.
really,
Can we
yeah.
just walk out, get it done? Like everybody's like, oh, because it's all snowed here. So Presley can't walk in the snow. And like he'll sink and it's just horrible. And he's like, there's no way. So yes, he's on the sidewalk and trying to go to the bathroom on a mound of snow. But I'm like, when there isn't, he takes forever. And they're like, shovel out your backyard. I'm like, he's not going there. He needs to walk 7 hours before he decides. Like, that's not.
Right.
Okay, so
It's
cat or dog for you?
for me. It's dog.
Hands down. What kind of a dog? I'm going to say a
I
Shih Tzu, and then we're going to have problems.
no, no. We had a Maltese poodle, but I'm not that I'm not a fan. I love all of God's creations. Um but I really do, like, I can't kill bugs. I get
Come
really upset.
on. You have
I
a
r
preference.
Oh, I do, yeah. French bulldog,
A
100%.
French Bulldog.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh my god, there's such personality in those dogs. But I also want a Great Dane
I love
eventually
Great
in
Danes.
life.
I don't like the bigger the dog, the shorter their lifespan.
Yeah, something
And so
like
that
that.
gives me palpitations. You know what I mean? But I love how Great Danes are scared of kittens. Like the the personality. I feel like I'm. If I was to choose a dog, it's like a Great Dane personality. It's like he's this big dog, but gets scared by little things, and I just think it's the funniest thing.
They're
Like
like
how
do I f
elephants are afraid of mice. I love
right.
that aspect.
They're like doofy, like, the bigger the dog, the
It's true.
doofier.
Yep,
And
I like it.
I love pit bulls.
Oh yeah,
I want a
yeah.
pit bull. American bulldogs are love them. I love dogs like that.
I'll tell you what, I can't watch. There's so much of TikTok now that's like guys rescuing dogs from like either the dog meat trade or rescuing them and finding them homes in wherever in like shelters and stuff like that.
Mm,
And I can't handle it. Like I'm like I can't if I watch this and there's a sad dog and thank God TikTok it's all about the quick end. Like
right.
you give me a happy ending real quick
Right, right,
because
right.
it's just too much for me.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't watch any of it anymore without feeling like I'm going to, explode in tears. It's just too much.
blubbering like a
And it's
fool.
true with dogs, like because they're
Yeah.
just so cats. Although I love and they're beautiful and
They're assholes. They're
they
assholes.
just don't care as much, right? They're just like, meh, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'll be fine. We domesticated you. When I need you, I'll come see you.
Right.
Um, which
Right.
I don't mind. But like, yeah, the dog situation. I'll tell
Cats,
you the
yeah.
story though. So, right, um, it was in a quite a few relationships ago.
Mhm.
I bought a house, my very first house, years and years ago, with a partner at the time, and we'd been living there for 10 minutes. And she says, "I want a dog," and I'm like,
Mm.
"We had two cats," and I'm like, "I don't want a dog.
I don't
Joanna,
want
it'll
this.
make me so happy. It's all I wanted." Yeah,
Was she hot?
apparently. And I said, okay, fine. Okay, let's go. And this beautiful puppy who was like a mix. He had a little bit of a Dalmatian, a little bit of a German short haired pointer. He was a beautiful dog. This is how much it stressed me out. I went to walk him, and as a puppy, he got worms. He got, all the gross things puppies
Mm.
get. And at some point, she's cleaning. I'm going to clean the whole house, wash the floors. Can you take the dog out for a walk? But this was just puppy stage where you're up every 10 minutes, where he's peeing everywhere. It's just, every time we try to crate train him and he wakes up and you're awake all night. whatever. And I take him out and I'm standing on the front porch and I shut the door behind me and I feel so overwhelmingly anxious. Tori, I'm not lying. A single stream of blood comes right down my nose. I had worked myself up into if somebody could have tested my blood pressure at that particular moment, I would have been on the I gave myself a bleeding nose. That's what happened.
For
Just standing there.
poor K.
Because it was just too much. I'd never had a dog before. By the way, we broke up about 7 minutes later, so maybe the relationship was a problem as well. But
It
it was
was the
just like,
commitment.
oh my god, we literally broke up 7 minutes later. And I don't. It was just a lot. It was a lot.
You want to know something? That reminds me of like I was in a relationship with a woman, and I I don't know why this story is even coming up, but here we go.
I love
Um,
it.
I saved up 10 grand for a ring, an engagement ring, and then 2 minutes after I hit 10 grand in my bank account, we broke up.
Listen, that story could have gone a lot worse.
Right.
That's
Right.
it's sad, but that's a good story.
Thank you.
That's like divide. If I believe the divide intervention, it happened right then before
It-
you dropped 10 grand.
yes, that's exactly it.
Is that
So
how much you're supposed to spend on a ring? I feel like that's Tori. You kind of went like
I'm ridiculous.
that's a car, right? Like, what's the average ring cost?
It doesn't need to be that much. It really doesn't.
10 grand.
Um
I'm just saying.
right. Like for my next relationship, when I get to that point, we gonna have a discussion because like if I could cut that in half and spend like five, we're cool. You know what I'm saying? But
I just don't. I just that much on jewel. It depends where you are in life. Let me say, like you have your. Like, I just feel like this has been created, by the way, by somebody external to tell you how much you love that person. And in actuality, like I don't. It's just I. I just never see it anybody being authentic. Like I really need a 4 carat. Like I
right.
need a 4 carat because that's just love to me. You know what I mean? I'm just like anybody who
Right.
would say that, I'm immediately like,
Red flag.
I'm
Shh.
I'm not into it, right? And that's cool. She can be into it, but I'm not into it. I'm into down payment on a house or putting
Right.
money away. Gay women, we need some money for babies to have like to even get them.
Yeah, I don't even
Uh,
know. I don't know if
so
I
for
want
somebody to
babies.
say that and that's their pinnacle, like I don't know any girls like that, to be honest.
She
I'm sure there are.
wasn't she wasn't like that, but at the same time, like her grandfather was a jeweler, and so
That's
she she knew a nice diamond when she saw one. So I wanted it was more of a me thing. Like I wanted to like really.
wow.
She was the only woman that I dated that I could foresee marriage with. So I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go all out, you know. So, but
That's great. How long ago was that?
that was 6 years ago.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and I think we get roped into a lot of that. I think the older you get, the more you can recognize just sort of what's authentic. You know what I mean? Like for you and for
mm,
them, and what matters and what doesn't matter. But I
yeah.
think, it's important. Well, did you just ask that question or did I? Oh, you asked that question.
I did. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, we have a couple more. By the
Okay.
way, if whoever's listening right now, what I would love is you to throw a bunch of questions in the comments. And
Yeah.
then Tori and I will come back and do part two. And I would love
Yes.
them to be like getting to know you questions that you
Pretend
guys
like
think are important,
yeah. Pretend like
and
you're
why.
on a first date with us.
First date. Yeah. What are your first date questions? Like, all of that.
Yeah.
Um, it's so funny. And it's like we all like long walks until we get together with a person. Nobody likes likes hiking?
I'm not
You
a hiker.
legitimately are like, I'm a hiker, like going in, who was it? Reese Witherspoon, Into the Wild, throws the boot. If you're that person, no, not me. But I need to know if it's legitimate. Like, I'll be a hiker. Do you want to go for a walk? Sure, because we're getting to know each
Right.
other. But after that, probably not. Unless we're walking to somewhere.
After that, like again, wrap it up.
No, I'm
Let's
not. I'm not into it. I'm
I
not.
I would rather do like adventurous stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. If there's a cool
hiking,
purpose,
right. But
yeah,
if there's fun, to me hiking's not fun. Like if we're going to
no,
go kayaking, water
sure,
activities,
I'm in.
that's that's fun. You want to go
I
on
don't
a
want to
boat?
carry the boat. Do I have to
Right.
carry the boat? I'm not interested in carrying the boat. Kayaking is a lot harder than you think it is. It's way more work. It looks calm. They sound calm.
I went to Arizona. My ex lives in Arizona and we kayaked down this river. I mean, it was a river.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were a little bit of like
Current. Well, you
rapids.
have to have current. Where are you going where there's no current?
Right.
A lake? Kayak across the
We
lake.
kayaked the lake. But I'm telling you, yeah, it was work, but it was fun work.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Well, if you're in the
So,
right atmosphere too and the right vibe, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'd
yeah.
go kayaking and I'd work super hard if you said we're gonna go kayak with orcas. I'm in.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
100% in. Now
Hell
I'm
yeah.
more likely to jump in the water because I think I should swim with them. Just a little.
It kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
love it. It would be a real danger zone for me, especially if I wasn't in like a restrained kind of boat scenario. If they're right there, I'm definitely touching him. 100%.
I want to touch it. Yeah,
100%. I'm
absolutely.
definitely petting him.
A
Um,
stingray, I'm touching you.
I'm touching it. It's
Yeah.
true. All of it.
Yeah.
I
100%.
there's nothing humpback whales. There's this uh well, let me ask you the question actually.
Oh god.
If you could go somewhere, favorite vacation idea, spot, something, what would it be? Unlimited amounts of money.
Ooh.
Go crazy. Take that $10,000 you're saving up for that stupid diamond and go. Where are you going?
Oh shit. Barcelona. I'm going to Santorini, Greece. Um I'm going there's a couple places I want to go to. I'm going to Bora Bora.
See, well, wait a minute. Now you're just picking all the places. You get one. Like we're not. It's not a world tour.
Well, all right, what vibe? Am I going with my significant other?
Sure. I don't. Whatever.
Then we're going to Bora Bora cuz
Bora Bora. Why you
I'm
want to live in
having
one of those little huts that the Kardashians live in?
I want to have sex in a bungalow. Yep. Yup. That's a fantasy. I want to have sex in a bungalow.
You can do that here. There's some bungalows down on the Danforth. You can rent it out for the weekend. You'll be good to go. Just joking. My vacation, like for sure, would be free diving with humpback whales off the coast of Tonga. They have a humpback whale sanctuary that's like
Tonga.
out, and you go on a boat for 2 weeks, and you get to free dive 3 times a day. No
That's
scuba gear, just free diving 3 times a day with possibility of humpback whales ranging from babies to full grown. You'd be this far away from them.
mm,
I'm in. It costs like
that's
$4,000 or something to be on that boat.
that sounds that sounds pretty tits.
I'm in. I'm in. 100%.
That sounds
Last question.
really
Well,
awesome.
I'll give you one more. Do you have any more questions?
Uh
Oh, here. I have one more for you.
you have one more for me?
I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Do you want me to give it to you now or wait till you come up with one?
What hobbies are you interested in? That's my last one.
Oh, I don't understand that question. What's my hobby?
What are you passionate about? What
Well,
lights you up on the inside?
talking politics, I guess. Like I love movies. Like people ask my hobbies, and I feel like I'm void of some sort of deeper level. Like I don't know what a hobby means. Like painting? Do I? No, not really. I mean, I like to draw. Like I like to create art stuff. I'm not good at it, but I like that. But I don't really do that very often. I love movies, but that's not a hobby. Watching TV is not a hobby, although I feel like I engage in it a lot.
The
Um,
definition of a hobby. It's just an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure.
I did well then TV. TV. I'm being honest. TV's my hobby. TV and movies is my hobby.
Do you like
That's it.
reading?
I should say yes because I'm a teacher. When I was a kid, I'm going to
Uh-huh.
say I was a little dyslexic when I was a teenager. And
Okay.
I never, like, I read stuff, but if you gave me a big paragraph, I'd skip over it because I think would get mixed up in retrospect. I was never diagnosed with anything. And as I was when I went to university, I took I don't even know why, I took an English fiction course and we read 25 books. I don't even know why I took it because I was never good at it. I never
Y-
liked it. We
hold
read 25.
Y'all read 25 books in how many
Would have been a
weeks?
semester, so would have been in 4 months. Like it felt like we read things from. I
Shit.
have never got a better education. I read bunch of Bronte sisters, like a whole Charlotte,
Okay.
Emily, like the whole spectrum. I read
Emily,
Dickens. I read Homer. Like I read the Odyssey and the Iliad, and I liked it.
in less than a week?
Well, yeah, because you're just having now. Sometimes he would pull sections so you wouldn't read the whole thing. Sometimes he would say this is the section, especially in books like that. But I read like um, Dickens. I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was all literature, and
What
all
about
of a
Poe?
sudden, I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and then I just loved literature. And every because I don't think I would pick up a book in my free time on purpose because I would turn on the TV. Look, I'm a kid of the 80s. The TV was never off,
Right.
but and this is going to come to our next question, but my favorite book, because I wanted to know your favorite book, my favorite book is Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy. And again, I was forced to read it in a third year political science course, and it talked about
Mm.
this kind of dystopian future in which gender wasn't an issue, but it was a bit of a time travel. So it kept going back to this woman who was in our time, who was battling misogyny and gender roles and all of this violence against women. And people from the future would sort of connect with her, and you'd have to read the book, and they would say, listen, what you're doing now in this place, you have to struggle through it. You have to fight through it. Because if you don't struggle, we don't happen.
Oh shit.
Right?
Shit, that's deep.
It is a great book. And I just yesterday, actually, because I want her on my podcast. She's in her at least 70s, maybe early 80s. And just yesterday, there was another book that because I started reading, I'm like, why have I never even looked up other books? I love this book. And
Mm.
I started picking up, she's a poet as well. And I picked up another book that sort of takes place in her version of the French Revolution, where she speaks about issues about the beginnings of feminism and the beginnings, like the real, like Simone de Beauvoir, and she speaks about the right and the left being created, and all of these sort of very
Wow.
thematic. I know, so I'm very so that's
So it's
gonna
like
come.
that's like educational art.
That's what I like. I think that's what I'm drawn to, right?
That's
Like, but
awesome.
I liked Robertson Davies, who is Canadian, Graham Swift. I like stories of those interconnections where you can show that my relationship with him, her, somehow all formulated into where I am right now. I love those stories.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Okay,
that.
hobby. What was your hobby?
Oh my god, I have so
Really?
fucking man.
It's such
Yeah.
a hard question for me.
I'm like a hobbyist. I don't even know.
Hobbyist.
I would say, I mean, I get paid for tarot, so I don't know if that's necessarily a hobby
Right.
anymore, but it's an interest. Writing,
Oh yeah, you
um,
sing, you write your own music.
yeah, um, reading. Reading is definitely a hobby of mine, and I would say, I mean, is podcasting considered a hobby?
100%. Absolutely. I think it's like, and I would even say TikTok, like TikTok and podcasting, I mean, they're all different ways to connect and talk through things and have conversation of anything else, right? So, what would your
Yeah.
favorite book be? We can end on your favorite book and then.
My favorite book, um, it changes because I'm constantly reading, but Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Hmm.
It's I like a lot of like obviously. Spirituality, like self-help and business books too. I love Gary Vayner. I have all of Gary Vaynerchuk's books. Um, but it's a book about 4 agreements that you should make to yourself to live a better life. It's
Nice.
simple, it's quick, it's
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
it's not woo woo or anything like that. So,
What was that? It's not what?
woo woo. So like in
Woo.
s- yeah, like in spirituality, some people I'm very grounded in my spirituality. Like even when it comes to tarot, I'm still skeptical with things. I
Okay.
know I've felt things and I've experienced things that like can't be coincidental, but at the same time, I'm still a healthy skeptic. So woo woo is like when somebody's like way out there,
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not like, I don't really delve into that.
Everything is a sign. Everything is like some sort of external
Right.
force acting. Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. So, what I need all of the listeners to do right now, if you're
Mhm.
listening to me on all of those platforms that you just listened, come to my YouTube page so you can fill out or give me your question you would ask when you're dating, why it matters kind of question. And Tori and I are going to do part 2 of this, and we're going to go through all of those.
Right.
Are you in?
I'm so in. I'm
We're
so yeah.
100% in.
Hell
Amazing.
yeah.
So we will see you guys next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat station. Have a good
Damn.
night, guys. Thank you so much, Tori. You've been amazing,
Thank you.
as
Love
always.
love you.
Love you. Dismissed.